This is Josiah Plays Dragon Age Origins. Alright, we're playing some Dragon Age. We're still doing the Mage origin story. And we're looking around. Just arrived on the second floor of the Mage Tower. And here's some tranquils.
Welcome to the Circle's stockroom of magical items. My name is Owain. How may I assist you?
Are you really a tranquil mage?
I voluntarily submitted to the rite of tranquility. I was unwilling to undergo the harrowing. I find this state agreeable.
Don't you think what I did to you is cruel?
Tranquility has its merits. I see the world with clarity. I remember the days when my mind was filled with inconvenient and seething emotions. Now things are simple.
What happened during the Rite of Tranquility?
I was ordered to never speak of it. I cannot go against the Circle's wishes.
But what was becoming tranquil like?
It is difficult to describe. I would perhaps compare it to being plunged into a pool of ice-cold water.
Now you're no longer a person.
My body is similar in form to yours, possessing an equal number of limbs, appendages, and internal organs. I perform the same physical functions. My mind is capable of higher thought processes. Am I to be denied personhood because I do not feel as you do?
But a person has emotions. You don't.
People feel things to different degrees. One individual may be more empathetic than the next. Some are quick to anger, while others are not. Yet you would not single one out and accuse him of not being a person. My capacity to feel differs from yours, but you also differ from all other beings. You are no more a person than others, and I am no less a person than you are.
My statement was rude. I apologize.
I do not have the capacity to be offended. Still, I believe I am a person.
Do not have the capacity to be offended. I should go now.
Very well. Goodbye. Welcome to the Circle's stockroom of magical items. My name is Owain. How may I assist you?
Is that how you greet everyone?
Do you find my greeting disagreeable? I apologize, but I am not inclined to change it. Do you need something?
What's a stockroom for?
The stockroom stores components used in magical and alchemical experiments. Do you require something?
I don't need anything.
Very well. Goodbye. Welcome to the Circle's stockroom of magical items. My name is Owain. How may I assist you?
What can I buy here?
The stockroom is not a shop. Your mentor should have clarified this. The stockroom stores components used in magical and alchemical experiments. Do you require something?
No.
Very well. Goodbye.
Is there any free shit in here?
Good day to you. Good day to you. If you want something from the stockroom, you must speak to Owain.
Today I shall be making more potions to send to the mages at Ostagar. Today I shall be... Is there something you need? You must speak to Owain.
Your mentors must be happy for you. You passed the harrowing. Good day. Your mentors must be happy for you. You passed the harrowing.
I wonder what it would be like to have no emotions at all. Like, literally, what would it be like? First Enchanter Irving. Alright, we're going to go through here and we're going to work our way around like that. Senior Enchanter Sweeney.
Oh, hello. I don't believe we've met. Are you new to the circle?
Are you daft? I'm a newly harrowed mage, but I've lived here all my life.
I'm sorry. There are so many of you, and I get confused. Not to mention, these old eyes are starting to go.
Everyone makes mistakes.
You're too kind. I'm old and about to fall apart. Nothing in the world can fix that.
That is some kind of paradox to wonder what it would feel like with no emotions. Well, I don't know if they can feel pain either, because they said at one point that the Toricles don't feel anything. But I don't know that they meant that literally in terms of physical sensations. I think they just meant it in terms of emotions. You should rest more, not be in the library.
But I enjoy the library. These books, they're old friends of mine. And it's quiet. When you're my age, you'll appreciate the quiet. Anyway, did you need something?
I just wanted to talk.
I'm not good at talking. Too much chatter makes my head throb. Don't you have lessons to get to? Shoo! Ah, it's you again. Or at least I think it is. You all look the same to me.
Care to chat now?
I'm not good at talking.
Okay. He doesn't want to talk. A lot of books. The Four Schools of Magic, Primal. Those who oppose thee shall know the wrath of heaven. Field and forest shall burn. The seas shall rise and devour them. The wind shall tear their nations from the face of the earth. Lightning shall rain down from the sky. They shall cry out to their false gods and find silence. Andraste 7:19. Sometimes called the School of Power, the Primal School is the second of the schools of energy, balanced by spirit, and concerns the most visible and tangible forces of nature itself. This is the magic of war. Fire, ice, and lightning. Devastation. This is what the vast majority imagines when they hear the word magic. From the Four Schools, a treatise by First Enchanter Josephus.
It shall be done.
A section of books appears to be missing. Creation magics. Opposition in all things. For earth, sky. For winter, summer. For darkness, light. By my will alone is balance sundered, and the world given new life. The School of Creation, sometimes called the School of Nature, is the second of the schools of matter, the balancing force and complement of entropy. Creation magic manipulates natural forces, transforming what exists and bringing new things into being. Creation requires considerable finesse, more than any other school, and is therefore rarely mastered. Those mages who have made a serious study of creation are the highest in demand, useful in times of peace as well as war. From the Four Schools, a treatise by First Enchanter Josephus. So creation includes like the healing spells, the buffing spells, the glyphs, and the It even includes weird stuff like Spell Bloom and Stinging Swarm. Hierarchy of the Circle. It is no simple matter, safeguarding ordinary men from mages, and mages from themselves. Each circle tower must have some measure of self-government, for it is ever the Maker's will that men be given the power to take responsibility for our own actions, to sin and fail, as well as to achieve the highest grace and glory on our own strength. You, who will be tasked with the protection of the circle, must be aware of its workings. The first enchanter is the heart of any tower. He will determine the course his circle will take. He will choose which apprentices may be tested and made full mages, and you will work most closely with him. Assisting the first enchanter will be the senior enchanters, a small council of the most trusted and experienced magi in the tower. From this group, the next first enchanter is always chosen. Beneath the council are the enchanters. These are the teachers and mentors of the tower, and you must get to know them in order to keep your finger on the pulse of the circle, for the enchanters will always know what is happening among the children. All those who have passed their harrowing, but have not taken apprentices, are mages. This is where most trouble in a circle lies, in the idleness and inexperience of youth. The untested apprentices are the most numerous denizens of any tower, but they more often pose threats to themselves, due to their lack of training, than to anyone else. Knight Commander Serene of the Chantry Templars in a letter to his successor. Seems pretty cool. I do like the lore for mages and magic in this game, in this setting. Here's Edric.
You need something? If not, step back. You're in my light.
Your light?
I'm trying to study. Have some consideration for a fellow mage.
Well-spoken for an elf. What a racist fucking thing to say. But you're just an apprentice, not a mage.
I will be soon. I have studied hard, and this opportunity will not pass me by. This is a chance for me to prove I can achieve as much as any human. Many humans believe elves are only fit to be servants.
I don't believe that.
Many humans do. I suppose it isn't entirely your fault. With so many elves living in alienages apart from humans, it's difficult for you to get a true idea of who we are. Ironically, many of us don't know who we are either.
What do you mean?
Elves have lived under human rule for so long that much of our history and culture has been lost. As a mage, I have an opportunity to prove myself.
I'm sure you'll succeed.
Thank you. But I should get back to my books.
Oh, thank you for talking with me.
Good day. I'm sorry, but I am quite busy with my work right now.
Something before it came to that. Will they? They haven't done anything, and I've heard that the Equitarians are starting to soften a little on the libertarian position.
Liam O'Brien.
Sympathy for the position isn't the same as support. Yet. As far as I know, most Equitarians prefer to remain allied with the Loyalists. You can see why, don't you? Just think of what the Chantry would do if suddenly the Circles were petitioning for more independence, or even a split.
Won't be pretty.
Ah, the short-sighted Libertarians. They'll get their way and take us all down with them.
Faction struggles within the mages. Four schools of magic. Spirit. Some people hear it. Some people fear it. Spirit. Some people just won't go near it. You like arrogant elves more than emo elves? Yeah, I'm not a fan of the elves in Dragon Age. And the voice of the Maker shook the Fade, saying, In my image I have wrought my firstborn. You have been given dominion over all that exists. By your will, all things are done. Yet you do nothing. The realm I have given you is formless, ever-changing. Vanities 5:4. The first of the two schools of energy, spirit is opposed by the primal school. It is the school of mystery, the ephemeral school. This is the study of the invisible energies which surround us at all times, yet are outside of nature. It is from the Fade itself that this magic draws its power. Students of this school cover everything from direct manipulation of mana and spell energies to the study and summoning of spirits themselves. By its nature an esoteric school, as most others know virtually nothing about the Fade, studies of spirit magic are often misunderstood by the general populace, or even confused for blood magic, an unfortunate fate for a most useful branch of study. In the Four Schools, a treatise by First Enchanter Josiah.
I think someone's here to speak to you, Senior Torren.
History of the Circle. It is a truth universally acknowledged that nothing is more successful at inspiring a person to mischief as being told not to do something. Unfortunately, the Chantry of the Divine Age had some trouble with obvious truths. Although it did not outlaw magic, quite the contrary, as the Chantry relied upon magic to kindle the eternal flame which burns in every brazier in every Chantry, it relegated mages to lighting candles and lamps, perhaps occasional dusting of rafters and eaves. Prestidigitation only, apparently. I will give my readers a moment to contemplate how well such a role satisfied the mages of the time. It surprised absolutely no one when the mages of Val Royeaux, in protest, snuffed the sacred flames of the cathedral and barricaded themselves inside the choir loft. No one, that is, but divine Ambrosia II, who was outraged and attempted to order an exalted march upon her own cathedral. Even her most devout Templars discouraged that idea. For 21 days, the fires remained unlit while negotiations were conducted, legend tells us, by shouting back and forth from the loft. The mages went cheerily into exile in a remote fortress outside of the capital, where they would be kept under the watchful eye of the Templars and a council of their own elder magi. Outside of normal society and outside of the Chantry, the mages would form their own closed society, the Circle, separated for the first time in human history. From Of Fires, Circles, and Templars, A History of Magic in the Chantry, by Sister Patrine, Chantry Scholar. Okay, so that's how the Circle got started. One more book.
Very well.
Entropy Magic. The Four Schools of Magic, Entropy. To you, my second-born, I grant this gift. In your heart shall burn an unquenchable flame, all-consuming and never satisfied. Trinities 5:7. The second of the two schools of matter. Entropy is the opposing force of creation. For this reason, it is often called the School of Negation. Nothing lives without death. Time inevitably brings an end to all things in the material world, and yet in this ending is the seed of a beginning. A river may flood its banks, causing havoc, but bring new life to its floodplain. The fire that burns a forest ushers in new growth, and so it is with entropic magic that we manipulate the forces of erosion, decay, and destruction to create anew. In the Four Schools, a treatise by First Enchanter Josiah.
Hello, were you looking for something?
What were you talking to that other mage about?
Oh, the fraternities. Groups of mages with a common agenda. I think we should all be isolationists. Stay in some remote mountain town far away from the mundanes who hate us.
But if we run away, they'll never learn not to fear us.
They'll never learn that. They don't want to. I'd go hide alone in the wilds if I could. But you know they just brand me an apostate and hunt me down. There is no leaving the circle. It's till death do us part. Romantic, isn't it?
Apostate?
If you leave the circle, you become an apostate. And the punishment for leaving is death. Pretty grim, huh?
There must be mages who aren't part of a circle.
I've heard of hedge witches who've managed to survive on their own, eluding the circle for a lifetime. But if the Templars discover them, well, you know what happens. Then there are stories about the Dalish elf clans having great magic. But who knows what's truth and what's fiction when it comes to the Dalish?
Who are you?
I'm Njal, a mage just like you. I've seen you around, haven't I? I must have.
I can't stay to chat.
All right. Have a good day.
Hello. Congratulations on your harrowing last night. Good work.
What were you talking about earlier?
Ah, the fraternities of the Enchanters. You probably haven't heard of them. It's best not to get tangled up in circle politics. More trouble than it's worth, really.
Tell me about the fraternities.
They're found in all circles throughout Thedas. Groups of enchanters who hold similar viewpoints, who band together to make their voices heard. The most influential fraternity are the Equitarians. They are moderates and believe in a code of conduct that all mages should adhere to. Then there are the Chantry apologists, the Loyalists. The Chantry says something and they follow it to the letter. The Lucrosians just want to make money, and the Isolationists would like us all to be hermits and live on an island. Then, of course, there are the Libertarians. They want more power for the Circle, more autonomy.
Isn't that a good thing?
And that's what they would say. Mages have enough opposition from the outside without tearing our circles apart with infighting. But what can you do?
Giving up doesn't help anyone.
An idealist, I see. Well, if you're going to change the world, you should get started immediately. Lots of world to cover.
The Fraternity of Enchanters. Another aspect of circle life is the fraternity. When a mage becomes an enchanter, he may ally himself with a fraternity. These are cliques that cross circle boundaries, mages of common interests and goals who band together to ensure that their voice is heard within the College of Magi in Cumberland. The largest fraternities currently are the Loyalists, who advocate loyalty and obedience to the Chantry, the Equitarians, who advocate temperance and follow a distinct code of conduct which they believe all mages should hold themselves to, the Libertarians, a growing fraternity, publicly maintaining greater power for the circles, but secretly advocating a complete split from the Chantry, a dangerous opinion, naturally. The Isolationists, a small group that advocates withdrawing to remote territories in order to avoid conflicts with the general populace, and the Lucrosians, who maintain that the Circle must do what is profitable first and foremost. They prioritize the accumulation of wealth, with the gaining of political influence a close second. I think I like the Libertarians. So far, an alliance between the Loyalists and the Equitarians has prevented the Libertarians from gaining much headway, but there are signs that the Equitarians may throw their support in with the Libertarians. If that happens, many mages predict it will come to civil war among the circles. From the Circle of the Magi, a history by First Enchanter Josiah. Civil war among the circles sounds cool.
still here.
All right. Another Bottle of the Winds? How many buckles of the winds do they have around here?
Oh, excuse me. I didn't hear you come in. I'm sorry. I'm terribly busy right now. I have to prepare the room before the Grey Warden is done at his meeting with Irving.
What's a Grey Warden?
They are an order of brave and noble warriors, sworn to give their lives to defeat the Darkspawn. You know, I almost became a Grey Warden once.
Really?
There were several of us chosen, though the Grey Wardens only wanted one recruit. They only ever have one mage, you see. I think they thought I was the best candidate, but I was young and foolish, and I said I wasn't interested. They picked someone else instead, and that was that. I've regretted it ever since. Ah, well, I should get back to my work. Good day.
I like how that guy doesn't even have a name. He's just Mage. I guess he's just not a major character.
It shall be done.
More lyrium dust. Hey, what's up, Jen? Good to see you. What's going on? Playing a little Dragon Age Origins.
Ah, there you are. You are to be moved out of the apprentice's dormitory, and these are to be your new quarters. The Tranquil will move your belongings this afternoon. Go on, make yourself comfortable.
Hey, this is my house.
Ah, there you are. You are to be moved out of the apprentice's
Pretty nice
dormitory,
looking
and
bed,
these
lots
are
of
to be your new
pillows.
quarters. The Tranquil will move your belongings
Pretty
this
wide
afternoon.
open area here,
Go on,
though, with
make yourself
no,
comfortable.
really no place for privacy.
Everyone's so happy for you.
Are they?
I heard that you completed the harrowing in record time.
I never thought you'd survive the harrowing. You got lucky, didn't you? Irving wants to see you. Get going.
I'm just checking if I can steal anything from you.
I should have been sent to help the King's army. I dislike being stuck here while something big is happening.
Hey, it's Colin. I'm sure we'll never see him again in any further Dragon Age games.
Oh, hello. I'm glad to see your harrowing went smoothly.
Yeah, she does seem like the worst. Why are you stuttering?
What? I'm fine. I'm just glad you're alright, you know?
Would you really have struck me down?
I would have felt terrible about it. But I serve the Chantry and the Maker, and I will do as I am commanded.
You don't like Cullen, Jen? It's funny, because I was watching somebody else play this game, and there were two people chatting in the stream. The streamer and one person in the chat, and they were both talking about how much they love Cullen. Whoa. Okay, I've never played a female character in this before. I can apparently hit on Cullen. Well, I have to see what happens. Maybe we could go elsewhere and continue our discussion.
Elsewhere? What do you mean?
I've seen the way you look at me.
Oh, my goodness. If you're saying what I think, well, that would be really inappropriate, and... Ooh, I couldn't. I should go.
Ha! He's literally running away. Got him a little bit flustered there. You dislike him because everyone likes him so much? It's understandable. He's boring. Well, I don't really like Templars as a general rule. Although I do like Alistair. Blank Vellum. What up, mage?
Did you see that Grey Warden? I hear he's trying to recruit a mage for his order. You look well. That's wonderful. I was thrown up for a full week after my harrowing. It's delirium that does that, I think. I wonder how the King's army fares at Ostagar. I've heard talk of a new blight.
How do I click on this book? The Cardinal Rules of Magic. There's a mod that lets you make out with him. That's funny. You must not be under the misimpression that magic is all-powerful. There are limits, and not even the greatest mages may overcome them. No one, for instance, has found any means of traveling, either over great distances or small ones, beyond putting one foot in front of the other. The immutable nature of the physical world prevents this. So no, you may not simply pop over to Minrathous to borrow a cup of sugar, nor may you magic the essay you forgot in the apprentice dormitory to your desk. You will simply have to be prepared. Similarly, even when you send your mind into the Fade, your body remains behind. Only once has this barrier been overcome, and reputedly the spell required 2/3 of the lyrium in the Tevinter Imperium, as well as the lifeblood of several hundred slaves. The results were utterly disastrous. Finally, life is finite. A truly great healer may bring someone back from the very precipice of death, when breath and heartbeat have ceased, but the spirit still clings to life. But once the spirit has fled the body, it cannot be recalled. That is no failing of your skills or power. It is simple reality. From the lectures of First Enchanter Wenceslas. Stuff we didn't want to let you do with magic in the setting.
I hear Irving's very proud of you. Ah, it's great to see you. It's always sad when an apprentice fails the harrowing. Ah, it's great to see you. It's always sad
It
when
shall be done.
Well, look at all this.
An apprentice failed.
We got some elf fruit. The common name for Canaveris. This herb actually has little to do with elves, other than being commonly collected and traded to outsiders by the Dalish. It's the primary ingredient in many healing salves. You should sleep even if you want to watch. Deep mushroom. So deep. You gotta be up early for work probably, right? Fungi found underground in close proximity to lyrium veins. In addition to their restorative properties, they can also be made into poisons. And, if I recall correctly, you can use them to make stamina potions. Yeah, I already know about health poultices, thank you. And a frost rock. Get up at 6. I don't even know what time it is for you. It's like 11:17 for you or something like that. Yeah. These shards of lifestone are infused with magic, either naturally or by one of the Tranquil. Frost rocks radiate cold and can be used in many ice-related potions and traps. In my 2 playthroughs of this game on Nightmare difficulty, I never once used any of these elemental rocks or or made any traps or potions out of them. This time will not be
the harrowing.
Wow, okay. Having problems here. I think she gives me like a side quest.
I shall do it.
Maleficarum. It has been asked, what are Maleficarum? How shall we know them? I have been as troubled by this question as you. You have come to me for the wisdom of the Maker, but none have seen the Maker's heart, save beloved Andraste. And so I have done as all mortals must, and looked to the words of his prophet for answers. And there I found respite from a troubled mind. For she has said to us, magic exists to serve man and never to rule over him. Therefore I say to you, they who work magic which dominates the minds and hearts of others, they have transgressed the Maker's law. Also, Our Lady said to us, those who bring harm without provocation to the least of his children are hated and accursed by the Maker. And so it is made clear to me, as it should be to us all, that magic which fuels itself by harming others, by the letting of blood, is hated by the Maker. Those mages who honor the Maker and keep his laws we welcome as our brothers and sisters. Those who reject the laws of the Maker and the words of his prophet are apostate. They shall be cast out and given no place among us. It's rough to live in this world with all this religious oppression from the sermons of Justinian I. Alright. Senior Enchanter Leora.
I'd avoid Leora if I were you. She's been rather testy lately.
Who?
Senior Enchanter, Leora, over there. Hope you're having a good day.
You're not going to keep the first enchanter waiting, are you?
Alright, I have to talk to Irving first. Before I can do any kind of...
Ah, this is infuriating. Another batch destroyed. Say, have you seen Owain? Is he in the stockroom?
He's standing around in the same spot that he always is. Why would he be anywhere else?
Well, I don't know. He might have gone to the privy. The Tranquil still function like us. Mostly. I hope he still has some cinnabar lying around. When I asked last week, he said he was running out. Don't you have something better to do? Don't you have something better to do?
Not really. Honestly. I mean, I need to see the first enchanter, but...
Hope you're having a good day.
Have a feeling he'll wait. I have a feeling he'll wait. The right of annulment. In the 83rd year of the Glory Age, one of the mages of the Navarran Circle was found practicing forbidden magic. The Templars executed him swiftly, but this brewed discontent among the Navarra Circle. The mages made several magical attacks against the Templars, vengeance for the executed mage, but the Knight Commander was unable to track down which were responsible. 3 months later, the mages summoned a demon and turned it loose against their Templar watchers. Demons, however, are not easily controlled. After killing the first wave of Templars who tried to contain it, the demon took possession of one of its summoners. The resulting abominations slaughtered Templars and mages both before escaping into the countryside. The Grand Cleric sent a legion of Templars to hunt the fugitive. They killed the abomination a year later, but by that time it had slain 70 people. Divine Galatea, responding to the catastrophe in the Navarra and hoping to prevent further incidents, granted all the Grand Clerics of the Chantry the power to purge a circle entirely if they rule it irredeemably. Irredeemably? If they rule it irredeemable. This rite of annulment has been performed 17 times in the last 700 years. From Of Fire, Circles, and Templars, A History of Magic in the Chantry, by Sister Patrine, Chantry Scholar. Well, that sounds really horrible. So even the mages that, like, didn't do anything wrong still get killed because they're part of the circle that's being purged. Well, I'm sure nothing like that will come up in this story. There's somebody with a name.
Blessed art thou who exists in the sight of the Maker. Blessed are the penitents who seek his return. Blessed is the prophetess, purified by flame. May the chant reach the Maker's ears and tell him of our contrition. So let it be. Oh, I didn't see you there.
I'm just creepily staring at you.
I recite the Maker's blessings every day. It brings me peace in troubled times.
Are you in trouble?
No, not really. It's just... I don't want to bore you with this.
I'm sure it isn't boring.
It gives me hope that one day the Maker will hear us. That maybe I'll be forgiven and my curse will be lifted.
Curse?
Magic? What else?
Magic has made me suffer too.
Magic causes such misery. It's dangerous and vile and wicked. The Chantry must protect the world from us. Being born with something so terrible must be a punishment. I wish I could be rid of it.
You could use your abilities to help people.
That doesn't take magic. If I could, I would dedicate my life to the Chantry, but they would never take me in. Perhaps this is just something I will have to suffer through. I should go. My mentor only allows a few minutes each day for religious contemplation.
What do we have here? The Prophet Andraste. Looking very holy. Bride of the Maker. That just sounds creepy, honestly. There was once a tiny fishing village on the waking sea that was set upon by the Tevinter Imperium, which enslaved the villagers to be sold in the markets of Minrathous, leaving behind only the old and the infirm. One of the captives was the child Andraste. She was raised in slavery in a foreign land. She escaped, then made the long and treacherous journey back to her homeland alone. She rose from nothing to be the wife of an Alamari warlord. Each day she sang to the gods, asking them to help her people who remained slaves in Tevinter. The false gods of the mountains and the winds did not answer her, but the true God did. The Maker spoke. He showed her all the works of his hands, the Fade, the world, and all the creatures therein. He showed her how men had forgotten him, lavishing devotion upon mute idols and demons, and how he had left them to their fate. But her voice had reached him, and so captivated him that he offered her a place at his side so that she might rule all of creation. But Andraste would not forsake her people. She begged the Maker to return, to save his children from the cruelty of the Imperium. Reluctantly, the Maker agreed to give man another chance. Andraste went back to her husband, Maferath, and told him all that the Maker had revealed to her. Together they rallied the Alamari and marched forth against the mage lords of the Imperium, and the Maker was with them. The Maker's sword was creation itself, fire and flood, famine and earthquake. Everywhere they went, Andraste sang to the people of the Maker, and they heard her. The ranks of Andraste's followers grew until they were a vast tide washing over the Imperium. And when Maferath saw that the people loved Andraste and not him, a worm grew within his heart, gnawing upon it. At last, the armies of Andraste and Maferath stood before the very gates of Minrathous, but Andraste was not with them. For Maferath had schemed in secret to hand Andraste over to the Tevinter. For this, the Archon would give Maferath all the lands to the south of the Waking Sea. And so, before all the armies of the Alamari and of Tevinter, Andraste was tied to a stake and burned, while her earthly husband turned his armies aside and did nothing, for his heart had been devoured. But as he watched the pyre, the Archon softened. He took pity on Andraste and drew his sword, and granted her the mercy of a quick death. The Maker wept for his beloved, cursed Maferath, cursed mankind for their betrayal, and turned once again from creation, taking only Andraste with him. And Our Lady sits still at his side, where she still urges him to take pity on his children. From the Sermons of Justinian II. Dragon Age Jesus! Alright. Well, the Maker sounds like a real fucking prick, to be honest with you. I don't like the Maker. I don't like the followers of the Maker. Founding of the Chantry. Except Liliana, I like her. Cordelius Dracon, king of the city-state of Orlais, was a man of uncommon ambition. In the year -15 Ancient, the young king began construction of a great temple dedicated to the Maker, and declared that by its completion, he would not only have united the warring city-states of the south, he would have brought Andrastian belief to the world. In -3 Ancient, the temple was completed. There, in its heart, Dracon knelt before the eternal flame of Andraste, and was crowned ruler of the Empire of Orlais. His first act as emperor, to declare the Chantry as the established Andrastian religion of the Empire. It took 3 years and several hundred votes before Olessa of Montsemard was elected to lead the new Chantry. Upon her coronation as divine, she took the name Justinia, in honor of the disciple who recorded Andraste's songs. In that moment, the ancient era ended, and the divine age began. From Ferelden, Folklore and History by Sister Petrine, Chantry Scholar. So it's pretty much just like BC and AD, where they're dividing everything into years before the Chantry, and then the ages of things that all started after the Chantry, which is kind of like in the real life where you've got BC and AD. And AD, of course, means Anno Domini, in the year of our Lord, as it was created by the Catholic Church. More books. You know, the Mage origin story gives you a shitload more codex entries than the other origin stories. Chant of Light, the Blight. No matter their power, their triumphs, the mage lords of Tevinter were men, and doomed to die. Then a voice whispered within their hearts, "Shall you surrender your power to time like the beasts of the fields? You are the lords of this earth. Go forth to claim the empty throne of heaven and be gods." In secret they worked, magic upon magic. All their power and all their vanity, they turned against the veil, until at last it gave way. Above them, a river of light. Before them, the throne of heaven waiting. Beneath their feet, the footprints of the Maker, and all around them echoed a vast silence. But when they took a single step toward the empty throne, a great voice cried out, shaking the very foundations of heaven and earth. And so is the golden city blackened with each step you take in my hall. Marvel at perfection, for it is fleeting. You have brought sin to heaven and doom upon all the world. Again, Maker, kind of a dick. Violently were they cast down, for no mortal may walk bodily in the realm of dreams, bearing the mark of their crime, bodies so maimed and distorted that none should see them and know them for men. And these were the first Darkspawn, as we saw in the opening cinematic of the game. Deep into the earth they fled, away from the light. In darkness eternal they searched for those who had goaded them on, until at last they found their prize, their god, their betrayer, the sleeping dragon Dumat. Their taint twisted even the false god, and the Whisperer awoke at last in pain and horror, and led them to wreak havoc upon all the nations of the world. The first blight in Threnodies 8. Fucking mages and their hubris and their vanity and pride and greed and blah blah blah, shaking fist at those darn mages. Shaking fist. There's Lily.
I heard about your harrowing. Congratulations. Andraste must have smiled upon you. I heard about your harrowing. I heard about your harrowing. Congratulations. Andraste must have smiled upon you.
I think we got one more book here. Ah, the Maker. There was no word for heaven or for earth, for sea or sky. All that existed was silence. Then the voice of the Maker rang out. The first word, and his word became all that might be. Dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. And from it made his firstborn. And he said to them, in my image I forge you. To you I give dominion over all that exists. By your will may all things be done. Then in the center of heaven, he called forth a city with towers of gold, streets with music for cobblestones. Okay, that sounds really cool. And banners which flew without wind. There he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. The children of the Maker gathered before his golden throne and sang hymns of praise unending. But their songs were the songs of the cobblestones. They shone with the golden light, reflected from the Maker's throne. They held forth the banners that flew on their own. And the voice of the Maker shook the Fade, saying, in my image I have wrought my firstborn. You have been given dominion over all that exists. By your will all things are done, yet you do nothing. The realm I have given you is formless, ever-changing. And he knew he had wrought amiss. So the Maker turned from his firstborn, and took from the Fade a measure of its living flesh, and placed it apart from the spirits, and spoke to it, saying, here, I decree, opposition in all things, for earth, sky, for winter, summer, for darkness, light. By my will alone is balance sundered, and the world given new life. And no longer was it formless, ever-changing, but held fast, immutable, with words for heaven and for earth, sea and sky. At last did the Maker form the living world, from the living world, make men, immutable as the substance of the earth, with souls made of dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. Then the Maker said, to you, my secondborn, I grant this gift. In your heart shall burn an unquenchable flame, all-consuming and never satisfied. From the Fade I crafted you, and to the Fade you shall return, each night in dreams, that you may always remember me. And then the Maker sealed the gates of the Golden City, and there he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. Divinities 5, 1-8. Well, he didn't like what his children did, apparently.
Nothing to see here. Move along now.
Not allowed to go to the 3rd floor.
3rd floor is off limits till dinner time. First Enchanter's orders.
And finally we come to the office of the First Enchanter himself.
Many have already gone to Ostagar. Wynne, Aldred, and most of the senior mages. We've committed enough of our own to this war effort.
Your own? Since when have you felt such kinship with the mages, Gregor? Or are you afraid to let the mages out from under Chantry supervision, where they can actually use their Maker-given powers?
How dare you suggest?
Gentlemen, please. Irving, someone is here to see you.
Hi, everybody. It's me, the new mage. Grab a couple ice cubes, hold on. It's me, Caitlin, new mage. Sorry, I just had to talk to everyone in the entire tower and loot everything. Y'all understand, right? I'm sure you did the same thing when you were an apprentice. Okay. What's going on?
Nothing concerning you at this moment. Come, child.
This is...
Yes, this is she.
Well, Irving, you're obviously busy. We will discuss this later.
Of course. Well, then, where was I? Oh, yes, this is Duncan of the Grey Wardens.
Nice to meet you.
You've heard about the war brewing to the south, I expect. Duncan is recruiting mages to join the King's army at Ostagar.
Who are we fighting?
The Darkspawn threat grows in the south. We need all the help we can get.
What's a Darkspawn?
They are twisted monsters that dwell underground where the sun's light cannot touch them. They have formed into a horde in the Korkari Wilds and threaten to invade north into the valley. I fear if we don't drive them back, we may see another blight.
Duncan, you worry the poor girl with talk of blights and darkspawn. This is a happy day for her.
We live in troubled times, my friend.
We should seize moments of levity, especially in troubled times. The harrowing is behind you. Your phylactery was sent to Denerim. You are officially a mage within the circle of magi.
My phylactery?
You may not remember, but blood was taken from you when you first came to us. This blood is preserved within a phylactery.
So they can be hunted if they turn apostate.
We have few choices. The gift of magic is looked upon with suspicion and fear. We must prove we are strong enough to handle our power responsibly. You have done this. I present you with your robes, your staff, and a ring bearing the Circle's insignia. Wear them proudly, for you have earned them.
That's all I get. What happens now?
Patience, child. You have been through an ordeal. Let us not rush things. It goes without saying that you shall not discuss the harrowing with those who have not undergone the rite. Now then, take your time to rest, or study in the library. The day is yours.
Can I leave the tower?
Not yet. Remember, the tower's walls protect us as much as they protect others from us.
I will return to my quarters.
Would you be so kind as to escort Duncan back to his room, child?
It would be my pleasure.
The guest quarters are on the east side of this floor, close to the library. Now, if you'll both excuse me, I have matters to discuss with Gregor.
Codex updated. Duncan. Men and women from every race, warriors and mages, barbarians and kings. The Grey Wardens sacrificed everything to stem the tide of darkness, and prevailed. Like many others, Duncan gave up his family name when he joined the ranks of the Wardens. A symbolic gesture of cutting ties. You might say this was a convenience in his case, however. His mother was from the Anderfels, his father from Tevinter. His childhood was spent in the free marches in Orlais. His people were everywhere, and his homeland was nowhere. He was given the almost impossible task of leading the Wardens in Ferelden, a kingdom that had thrown the Order out 200 years earlier. Facing local suspicion and hostility, he set about finding recruits. Grim and taciturn, Gregor has been Knight Commander of the Templar forces stationed at the Circle Tower for so many years that hardly anyone except the First Enchanter recalls that he is not simply part of the tower itself. There is no higher office in a Circle Tower than that of First Enchanter. The one who holds this title must not only be an able administrator, but also a mentor, leader, and surrogate parent to all of the mages of the tower. Irving has proven himself to be all of these things with an added dose of cunning. Most apprentices know that little goes on in the tower that Irving does not know. He can soothe Templars angered by some childish magical prank at the same time that he lauds the pranksters, and everyone walks away satisfied. Well, that's nice. A mage of the circle. Escort Duncan to his quarters. Irving introduced you to Duncan, a Grey Warden who is a guest of the circle. After congratulating you on surviving your harrowing, Irving instructed you to escort Duncan back to his room, which is on the same floor as Irving's study on the east side and close to the library. And I got my magic staff, which is exactly like the one I found. I got a ring of study. Traditionally, these rings of lyrium-infused silver are given to each mage upon successful completion of the harrowing. But I think I like the Dalish Promise Ring more. And I got the Mage Robes. This robe is enchanted to increase a mage's magical power, which are a little better than my apprentice robes. I don't like the color nearly as much, though. But I can't be running around in apprentice robes like a noob.
Don't dawdle. Don't dawdle.
Thank you for walking with me. I'm glad for the company.
I wanted to talk to you a little more.
Yes? What about?
Why were Irving and Gregor arguing about the war?
It is not my place to comment.
Please, I'd like to know.
Gregor serves the Chantry, and the relationship between the Chantry and mages has always been strained. You've realized by now that the Chantry merely tolerates magic? They watch only because they feel they must.
I don't see why the Chantry and mages can't get along.
The Chantry believes that a mage should fear his power. It was the pride of mages, they say, that brought the Darkspawn upon us in the first place. Any mages who join the King's army can unleash their full power on the Darkspawn. In fact, I'm counting on it. Gregor may be afraid of what will happen. What if the mages decide they no longer want to be governed by the Chantry?
What are your opinions on the matter?
I believe we must defeat the Darkspawn, one way or another. My opinions end there.
Have there been many Darkspawn attacks?
A horde has formed within the Korkari Wilds in the south. If they are not stopped, they will strike north into the valley. We Grey Wardens believe that an archdemon is leading the horde.
That sounds ominous.
Darkspawn do attack the surface in ragtag bands, but archdemons are capable of rallying the Darkspawn, turning them into an unstoppable force. A horde of Darkspawn, a veritable army. It is dire news indeed. I fear this is what we will have to face.
I thought the Darkspawn were destroyed in the last Blight.
We can't seem to eradicate them completely. Somehow they always come back.
I've heard about Darkspawn sightings, but an entire horde?
They usually move around in small groups, but there are always more of them, lurking underground, biding their time.
And the king is mustering an army to beat back this threat?
Yes, perhaps it will be enough if we play our cards right.
I suppose all we can do is hope.
Hope and pray, friend. Come, let us be on our way.
New codex. Darkspawn. Those who had sought to claim heaven by violence destroyed it. What was golden and pure turned black. Those who had once been mage lords, the brightest of their age, were no longer men, but monsters. Divinities 12:1. Sin was the midwife that ushered the Darkspawn into this world. The Magisters fell from the Golden City, and their fate encompassed all our worlds. But they were not alone. No one knows where the Darkspawn came from. A dark mockery of men. In the darkest places they thrive, growing in numbers as a plague of locusts will. In raids, they will often take captives, dragging their victims alive into the deep roads. But most evidence suggests that these are eaten. Like spiders, it seems Darkspawn prefer their food still breathing. Perhaps they are simply spawned by the darkness. Certainly, we know that evil has no trouble perpetuating itself. The last Blight was in the Age of Towers, striking once again at the heart of Tevinter, spreading south into Orlais and east into the Free Marches. The plague spread as far as Ferelden, but the withering and twisting of the land stopped well beyond our borders. Here, Darkspawn have never been more than the stuff of legends. In the northern lands, however, particularly Tevinter and the Anderfells, they say Darkspawn haunt the hinterlands, preying on outlying farmers and isolated villages. A constant threat. From Ferelden, Folklore and History by Sister Petrine, Chantry Scholar. Okay.
Yes, shouldn't we move along?
I wanted to talk to you a little more.
Yes? What about?
I feel like I'm annoying Duncan right now. What do Grey Wardens do?
Our duty is to battle Darkspawn wherever they appear. We are elves, humans, and dwarves united by this common purpose.
Have there been many Darkspawn attacks?
A horde has formed within the Korkari Wilds in the south. If they are not stopped, they will strike north into the valley. We Grey Wardens believe that an archdemon is leading the horde.
Archdemon?
Darkspawn do attack the surface. A horde of Darkspawn. A veritable army.
Let's go.
Yes.
But, like, before we do, I gotta look around in Irving's room and see what I can mess with.
As you say.
Blood magic, the forbidden school. So this is what was missing from the shelves when we were in the library and there was a section of books missing. Here they are. Blood magic, the forbidden school. Foul and corrupt are you who have taken my gift and turned it against my children. Transfigurations 1810. The ancient Tevinters did not originally consider blood magic a school of its own. Rather, they saw it as a means to achieve greater power in any school of magic. The name, of course, refers to the fact that magic of this type uses life, specifically in the form of blood, instead of mana. It was common practice at one time for a magister to keep a number of slaves on hand, so that, should he undertake the working of a spell that was physically beyond his abilities, he could use the blood of his slaves to bolster the casting. Wow, that's pretty bad. Over time, however, the Imperium discovered types of spells that could only be worked by blood. Although lyrium will allow a mage to send his conscious mind into the Fade, blood would allow him to find the sleeping minds of others, view their dreams, and even influence or dominate their thoughts. Just as treacherous, blood magic allows the veil to be opened completely, so that demons may physically pass through it into our world. The rise of the Chant of Light and the subsequent fall of the old Imperium has led to blood magic being all but stamped out, as it should be, for it poses nearly as great a danger to those who would practice it as to the world at large. From the Four Schools, a treatise by first enchanter Cephas. So now we've read about all the types of magic. Alright, let's go, Duncan. Here we are.
Thank you for escorting me.
The Grey Wardens. The First Blight had already raged for 90 years. The world was in chaos. A god has risen, twisted and corrupted. The remaining gods of Tevinter were silent, withdrawn. What writing we have recovered from those times is filled with despair, for everyone believed, from the greatest archons to the lowliest slaves, that the world was coming to an end. At Weishaupt Fortress in the desolate Anderfels, a meeting transpired. Soldiers of the Imperium, seasoned veterans who had known nothing their entire lifetimes except hopeless war, came together. When they left Weishaupt, they had renounced their oaths to the Imperium. They were soldiers no longer. They were the Grey Wardens. The Wardens began an aggressive campaign against the Blight, striking back against the Darkspawn, reclaiming lands given up for lost. The Blight was far from over, but their victories brought notice, and soon they received aid from every nation in Thedas. They grew in number as well as reputation. Finally, in the year 992 of the Tevinter Imperium, Upon the silent plains, they met the archdemon Dumat in battle. A third of all the armies of northern Thedas were lost to the fighting, but Dumat fell, and the Darkspawn fled back underground. Even that was not the end. The Imperium once revered 7 gods: Dumat, Zazakel, Toth, Andorol, Razakael, Lusakan, and Urthemiel. 4 have risen as archdemons. The Grey Wardens have kept watch through the ages, well aware that peace is fleeting, and that their war continues until the last of the dragon gods is gone. So we got 3 dragon gods left. Okay. And the dragon gods are what turn into the archdemons and lead the Darkspawn. You escorted Duncan to his quarters as the first enchanter requested. I now have no quests.
Is there something else I can do for you?
What's happening outside the tower?
Ah, I imagine you don't leave very often, do you?
Apprentices are not allowed to leave.
I am not a good source of news, I fear. I am preoccupied with the Darkspawn incursion.
How many mages have joined the King's army?
When the King sent out the call, the Circle of Ferelden sent only 7 mages to Ostagar. I asked King Kaelin's permission to come and seek a greater commitment from the Circle.
7 is quite a few.
I hope to place a mage or 2 within every contingent. I cannot do with just 7. Mages will make all the difference in this battle. The Darkspawn have their own magic, and our resources must exceed theirs.
Do you think I could join the army?
I don't know. Do you?
Yes, I think I could help.
Then perhaps I shall speak to Irving about this later. Darkspawn are a greater threat than blood mages, even abominations. It takes decades for the world to recover from a blight. I wish the Chantry could see that. We must stop at nothing to defeat the Darkspawn. Listen to me. An old man's rantings can't be very interesting.
I love Duncan. I learned much from what you said.
You are too kind.
Can you tell me more about Grey Wardens and Darkspawn?
Certainly. I am intimately familiar with these subjects after all.
Well, I've already asked him these things.
Our duty is to battle Darkspawn wherever they appear.
I know.
We are elves, Of course. Don't let me keep you.
Hold on.
Is there something else I can do for you?
Have you ever seen someone use blood magic?
Once, in my youth, just after I joined the Grey Wardens. I was traveling with my mentor. We encountered a group of Templars hunting a blood mage. They were quite far away, so I cannot be sure of what I saw. He forced some of the Templars to turn on their fellows. It was dreadful to behold. He would have escaped had he not overlooked one Templar who snuck up behind him and cleaved his head in 2.
How does my character feel about blood magic? I'm sure he was just trying to survive.
It is something to consider, certainly.
You know anything about the Tranquil?
The mages whose connection to the Fade has been severed? Why do you ask?
Don't you think this is cruel?
It keeps them and those around them safe. Perhaps the sacrifice is worthwhile. I cannot say.
I should take my leave now.
Do not let me keep you.
Alright, we've talked to Duncan. Hey, here's a new quest. It's Jowan.
I'm glad I caught up to you. Are you done talking with Irving?
I think I am for now.
I need to talk to you. Do you remember what we discussed this morning?
Why are you whispering? It looks very suspicious.
Shh! I just want to make sure we're not overheard. We should go somewhere else. I don't feel safe talking here.
You're starting to worry me, Jowan.
I've been troubled. I'll explain. Come with me, please. We should be safe here.
All this skulking about is rather excessive.
I apologize, but Jowan must be careful, especially now.
Right, I've seen you before.
I often attend to my duties in this chapel. Perhaps that is why I seem familiar.
A few months ago, I told you that I met a girl. This is Lily.
Wow, number 3 is fucking brutal. My condolences, Lily.
Very funny.
You can't have brought me here to chat about love.
I wish that was the only thing I needed to talk about. Remember I said that I didn't think they wanted to give me my harrowing? I know why. They're going to make me tranquil. They'll take everything that I am from me. My dreams, hopes, fears, my love for Lily. All gone.
Well, but if you can't feel, then you can't feel sad about it.
That makes it so much worse, doesn't it? Not knowing how much you have lost.
They'll extinguish my humanity. I'll just be a husk, breathing and existing, but not truly living.
How did you find out about this?
I saw the document on Gregor's table. It authorized the right on Jowan, and Irving had signed it.
Why would they do this to you?
There's a rumor about me. People think I'm a blood mage. They think that making me a circle mage will endanger everyone.
And are they right about that?
Of course not. But it's not safe here for me anymore. I need to escape. I need to destroy my phylactery. Without it, they can't track me down. We need your help. Lily and I can't do this on our own.
Give us your word that you will help, and we will tell you what we intend.
But can't you just explain everything to someone?
If we tell anyone, Lily will be punished. If you care about what happens to me, help us!
Alright, then I give you my word.
Thank you. We will never forget this.
So what do you intend to do?
I can get us into the repository, but there is a problem. There are 2 locks on the phylactery chamber door. The first enchanter and knight commander each hold 1 key. But it is just a door. There is power enough in this place to destroy all of Ferelden. What's a door to mages?
What if it's a magical door?
We have no choice. We cannot get our hands on both keys. I once saw a rod of fire melt through a lock. You could get one from the stockroom, but Owain doesn't release such things to apprentices.
I know what I have to do.
We should stay here. 1 mage at the stockroom will attract less attention than a mage, an apprentice, and an initiate.
Walk into a bar. Sounds like the start of a joke. Good idea.
Good luck. Our prayers go with you.
Bound in blood and magic. Obtain a rod of fire from Owain. To break through the doors that stand between you and Jowan's phylactery, you need a rod of fire. The rod may be used to burn off the locks on the doors, allowing you, Jowan, and Lily to enter the repository. The Tranquil. Although apprentices do not know the nature of the harrowing, all of them understand its consequences. They either pass and become full mages, or they are never seen again. Those who fear to undertake this rite of passage, or those who are deemed too weak or unstable, are given the rite of tranquility instead. The actual procedure, like the harrowing, is secret, but the results are just as well known. The rite severs connection to the Fade. The Tranquil, therefore, do not dream. This removes the greatest danger that threatens a weak or unprepared mage, the potential to attract demons across the Vale. But this is the least of Tranquility's effects, for the absence of dreams brings with it the end of all magical ability, as well as all emotion. The Tranquil, ironically, resemble sleepwalkers, never entirely awake nor asleep. They are still part of our circle, however, and some might say they are the most critical part. They have incredible powers of concentration, for it is simply impossible to distract a Tranquil Mage, and this makes them capable of becoming craftsmen of such skill that they rival even the adeptness of the dwarves. The Formari, the branch of the circle devoted to item enchantment, is made up exclusively of Tranquil, and is the source of all the wealth that sustains our towers. From On Tranquility and the Role of the Fade in Human Society, by First Enchanter Josephus. Yeah. Because I think there's a thing about, like, they have to use lyrium to make enchanted items, and, like, lyrium is dangerous or something for normal people, but it's not dangerous for the Tranquil. Something like that. I don't know. I've already got 21 out of 41 Magic and Religion codexes, and I haven't even left the tutorial origin story yet.
I hate waiting. It makes me nervous.
I need to talk to you about something, Jowan.
Really? What?
The rumor about you being a blood mage isn't true, is it?
Of course not. I never used blood magic. I've been sneaking around to meet Lily in secret. Maybe others have seen me and assumed I must be doing something forbidden. I suppose we are, but they think it's blood magic, and it isn't.
Hey, what's up, Splode? Good to see you. How you doing? And let's just tell them the truth.
I've thought about it, but it will only make things worse. Lily will be punished. I can't do that to her. Maybe if it were just Irving, he'd spare me. But he has to keep the peace between the Circle and the Chantry. If he stirs up too much trouble, they might replace him. They could wipe out the entire Circle if they wanted. The Chantry abhors blood magic. That's why they're willing to pay attention to this stupid rumor.
Are you sure they're going to make you tranquil?
Lily wouldn't jest about something like this.
I saw it plain as day. There was no mistake. And Gregor believes he does the Maker's work, keeping the mages in check.
How did you meet Lily?
She was saying the chant of light in the chapel one night while I was walking past. I've heard that chant many times, but I never realized how beautiful the words were until then. I'll never forget that night.
Stop it, you're making me ill. Do you know where your family is?
No, and I don't care. Why?
How could you not care?
My parents hated me. I came here a year or so before you did. I must have been 5 or 6 years old. Mother stopped talking to me after I showed signs of magical ability. She wouldn't even look at me. She'd mutter under her breath that I was a demon child and an abomination in the Maker's sight.
She must have been afraid of you.
She'd fight with my father, saying that she didn't want that thing, meaning me, in her house. Guess that's what drove him to leave me at the village chantry. I suppose it's just as well. It's the past.
Let's move on to other things.
Are you ready to go?
Not yet. I'll be back. Okay. I think now I can get a side quest. Yeah, I can.
I hear Irving's very proud of you.
Don't you have something better to do?
Hope you're having a good day.
Yes?
Who are you?
Senior Enchanter, Leora, in charge of the Circle's laboratory. Is there something you want?
What's that door over there?
That leads to the Circle's cavern storerooms. There are caves running through the rock that the Circle is built upon. But of course, you know this.
Do you have rods of fire in there?
No, that's something the Tranquil deal in. This storeroom is for raw magical materials and alchemical substances. Lyrium, basilisk, blood, and so on.
Can I look inside the cavern?
No, I can't let anyone in there just now.
Why?
There are just things in there that I would prefer to keep safe.
What things?
Sensitive magical materials and substances, of course. I am in the midst of stock-taking, checking inventory, and I can't let anyone in there in case they mess things up. Yes.
So why are you out here and not in there?
Because I am taking a break. I hate the musty smell of caves, and Look, I'll tell you the truth. Just keep it to yourself. There is an infestation of spiders in the caves. I don't know how they got in there, but it's probably my fault. I was promoted to Senior Enchanter less than a fortnight ago, and I don't want anyone to find out. They'll think I'm incompetent.
Well, are you? You need any help?
I could use some, I'm sure. I've been too busy with my new duties. I haven't been able to deal with the spiders. If you cleared them out for me, I would owe you a favor. A big one.
All right, I'll do it.
Wonderful. Here is the key. Oh, and be careful in there. I'd really like to keep the damage done to the Circle's property to a minimum.
Hey, son. Senior Enchanter Leora has a small problem. The storage caves adjacent to the laboratory have been infested with spiders. Leora doesn't have time to deal with this, and so she's asked you to help her. And she gave me... what, exactly? E or something? Laboratory storage key. The well-worn key to the Circle's cave storage rooms.
You're back! Are the spiders gone?
No, I just needed to get some supplies.
Oh, wait. You didn't leave the door open, did you?
Here we go. Time to get into some legit combat with some legit spiders. This will be super easy. Alright. Fucking spiders. Okay, how many fucking buckles of the winds are there in this fucking tower? That's the third one I found. What did we just get? A spirit charm. A flat disc of solid iron bearing the image of the flame of Andraste hangs on this hemp cord. Okay. And some private documents. A list of household accounts and expenditures over time, useful for merchants negotiating contracts and wages. I think the blank vellum and the private documents are just for, like, selling to vendors. Waiting for spiders to, like, drop down and fucking start mauling me or something. We'll go this way first. That wasn't much of a problem. Giant spiders. Giant spiders tend to appear in old ruins and other places where the veil has become thin because of magical disturbances or a great number of deaths. In such places, spirits and demons pass into the world of the living and attempt to take control over living beings, spiders among them. Not all scholars accept this explanation for the presence of these beasts, however. Some claim that the thinning veil allows magic to leak from the Fade, tainting such creatures as these spiders to transform into larger and more potent creatures than they ever would become naturally. While such spiders are known to possess powerful poisons and the ability to fling their webs at opponents in combat, studies of them have been few, and the full range of their abilities are unknown. I'm so glad I took Winter's Grasp. It's such a great spell. Maging shit up in here. More lyrium potions. I've got 4 of them now. That is a lot of barrels. Who keeps blank vellum in a barrel? Barrel of vellum? Really? Fade Striders. Rare and restricted by the Chantry, these lyrium-enhanced boots reinforce a connection to the Fade and to magic. I think the Lion's Paw are better. An Acolyte Staff is almost the same as the staff I have, but it gives 2 spell power instead of 1 magic. Many of these ancient staves remain from the days when the Tevinter Imperium still ruled much of Ferelden. Infused with lyrium, it serves as a channel for a mage's power, able to fire bolts of energy in combat. So a point of magic gives me spell power. I think I'd rather use this. This magic staff, just like these other ones. Now there's 2. Okay, that's not great.
It shall be done. Very well. I shall do it.
Okay, why the fuck does a giant spider have 13 copper coins on it? I guess it swallowed them when it ate somebody, right?
It is begun.
Iron ring. Black iron shaped like a serpent devouring its own tail. I think that's just for selling.
Very well.
A novice Dwemer rune. Dwemer runes get their name from the ancient Tevinter name for dwarves. Gives spell resistance if you put it in your weapon. Of course, your weapon has to have rune slots. We all understand how socketed items work. Thank you, Diablo, for popularizing that concept. Is that all of them? Oh, fuck. Nope.
It shall be done.
That's all of them. You've killed all the spiders in the storage caves. Senior Enchanter Leora will be pleased to hear of this. I've also collected all the loot in the storage caves. And I'm gonna level up soon. Maybe when I turn this quest in, I'll level up.
You're back! Are the spiders gone?
I've dealt with your infestation.
Really? Oh, that's wonderful. You've saved my hide, I'm sure. And I owe you a favor, so if you need anything, I'll be here.
Keeping the creepy crawlies away.
Exactly. I'll be here, keeping the crawlies away.
You have killed all the spiders, and Senior Enchanter Leora has promised you a favor for dealing with the infestation.
It's good to see you again.
Seen any sign of more spiders?
No, thank the Maker. You were pretty thorough. I don't think I could have done a better job. Thanks again.
Alright, so I don't have any reason to ask her for a favor right now. First Enchanter Irving also has a quest for me? Really?
I trust you saw Duncan back to his quarters?
Of course, First Enchanter.
I'm glad you met him. He's a most honorable man.
We spoke a little.
I'm glad you did. He must have told you about the Grey Wardens. We can learn much from them. Now, did you need something?
Why do you have books on blood magic on your desk?
I've removed them from the library. I was advised it might be unwise to leave them where any apprentice may read them. They will be put away somewhere very safe. Now, is there anything else?
When is Jowan going through the harrowing?
When he is ready.
Jowan fears he's going to be made tranquil.
And how does he know this? I suppose the young initiate he dallies about with revealed it to him. You think
he
I
already
didn't
knows.
know? I did not become First Enchanter by keeping my eyes and ears shut.
So it's true?
I am afraid it is. Gregor says he has proof and eyewitness testimony that Jowan has been practicing blood magic. I cannot say more. Were it left to me, things might be different. But the Chantry, I'm sorry, child. This rite of tranquility will happen.
Gregor must be making it up. He hates all mages.
Let us not speak ill of my colleague. Our colleague. You know little of this, and I ask you to hold your tongue.
That fucking Templar is no colleague of mine. You know who else bans books? The Nazis. Yeah. Alright. Let's see. What's up, Buck Lightning 13? How you doing? You know this is wrong. I have nothing more to say.
Perhaps one day you will see it from my side. You have returned. Does something require my attention?
No, I just stepped by to say hello. Actually, wait. Jowan says he's going to be made tranquil.
And how does he know this? I suppose you think I didn't know? I did not become First Enchanter by keeping my eyes and ears shut.
Please, I beg you, don't do this to Jowan.
Gregor says he has proof. Were it
You already
left
said
to...
that.
I'm sorry, child. This rite of tranquility will happen. Let us not speak ill of my colleague. Our colleague. Perhaps...
So, I guess he doesn't have a quest for me. I think it's just letting me know that I can advance the quest with Jowan by coming in here and telling on him instead of helping him, if I so desire. I no snitch.
Nothing to see here.
Oh, come on. I'm a full mage. Let me go where I want. Okay. Let's talk to Owain.
Welcome to the Circle's stockroom of magical items. My name is Owain. How may I assist you?
I need a rod of fire.
Rods of fire serve many purposes. Why do you wish to acquire this particular item?
What can the rods be used for?
Some mages require them for their research. Others merely want to light fireplaces.
I anticipate having to light a fireplace.
I will set down that you require the rod to deal with a personal matter. Here is the form, Request for Rod of Fire. Have it signed and dated by a senior enchanter. I will release a rod to you once I have the signed form.
Can't we take anything we need from the stockroom?
It is procedure. I need a senior mage's authorization to release an item. Thank you.
So I got Rod of Fire request form. Owain, the Tranquil who oversees the running of the Circle's stockroom, has told you that you need to get a permission form signed by a senior mage to obtain a Rod of Fire from him. Now to find a senior mage who is willing to sign the form for you. Well, one of them already owes me a favor. Never played this, looks involved. Yeah, it's pretty complex.
Welcome to the Circle's stockroom of magical items. My name is Owain. How may I assist? Very well. Goodbye.
But before I just go straight back to Leora, I want to see.
Hello again.
Are you a senior enchanter?
Me? Not even close. I think I may be promoted to enchanter soon, however. I hear Irving's decided I'm ready to mentor other students.
Can't stay to chat.
All right. Have a good day.
Still here?
Would you sign this form?
Getting back to your studies so quickly after the harrowing, most mages need at least a week to recuperate. But no matter. It's good to see you're so eager to get back to work. What exactly are you doing with the rod?
I'm studying the combustible properties of marsh flora.
All right. Basically, you're going to burn plants?
What's up, Scheffner? How you doing? First two so good, third so bad? Really? I hear everybody else say the first one and the third one are good, and the second one is bad. That's what I usually hear from people. It's for a good cause.
Well, bring me your proposal and I'll look over it.
I don't have one.
Well, you need to lay out your ideas and methods clearly. As my mentor told me, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Go on, get started on that then.
Goodbye.
Still here?
He's not gonna help me. Duncan's here.
Hello again, my young friend. I hardly expected to meet you here.
What are you doing here?
I'm enjoying the splendors of the library. The Circle of Magi is fortunate to have so many wonderful books at its disposal.
Are you looking for anything in particular? You liked 1 and 2, couldn't finish the third. What was wrong with the third?
Perhaps. I shan't bore you with the details, though. You seem preoccupied. Might I ask what you're doing?
I'm just browsing.
If you might indulge me, I would like to ask you about the Circle.
Of course.
Mages like yourself must have opinions on current affairs such as the war. As you know, the king is gathering an army.
I believe mages could be very useful in this war.
You don't fear using the power at your disposal, do you? It is dangerous, yes, but necessary.
Just boring skills, etc. Oh, I saw some streamers play it a little bit. It looked pretty cool. But I haven't played it. Or number 2. I've only played the first one. I've never felt endangered by magic.
What about abominations or blood magic? Do you deny that these things exist?
No, of course not.
A word of advice from someone who's battled abominations and worse. A cavalier attitude will only get you into trouble. Well, I'm sure you've better things to do than chat with an old man. Good day. We shall meet again. I hope you are enjoying the library as much as I am.
I'm sorry, but I am quite busy with my work right now.
What about this guy? Senior Enchanter Sweeney.
Ah, it's you again. Or at least, I think it is. You all look the same to me.
I need this form signed.
What's this? A request form from the stockroom? Rod of Fire? I remember when the junior mages I mentored asked for some of those. Turns out they were burning holes in each other's trousers. One boy burned peepholes into the female apprentice's dormitory. You're not involved in any such rubbish, are you? No, of course you're not. Look at you. So angelic. Well, I won't ask why you'd need it.
I like this guy.
Oh, it's too boring lately. Tell you what, I'll put my name on this form, like so. And if you get the chance, burn a big hole in the seat of the trousers of the Templar that patrols the library. Do that for old Sweeney, won't you? Bastard's always given me the stink eye.
I'll see if I can manage that.
You'll be on your way now.
Nice. You got a senior mage to sign your form. Now Owain must release the rod to you. Storage room request form. Duly signed, though the signature is horrendous and barely readable scribble.
You give that Templar a good toasting? Can't wait to see the look on his face. That'll bring some warmth to his old bones. You give that Templar
Give him a good
toasting?
toasting.
Can't wait to see the look on
Before I talk to him about this, though, I'm gonna go back downstairs and see if there's any other side quests or anything. Been trying to play Divinity 2. Can't say interested in it either, so don't take my words for things. Yeah, I have a hard time often staying interested in, like, long RPGs.
I can't wait for my harrowing.
Jowan's been acting weird all day. Have you seen him?
Yeah, I don't think anybody down here. is gonna be doing anything interesting. So this is where we have to go, right? Oh. I thought this is where we had to go. With the Rod of Fire. Has to be. This looks like the place. Ah, this is the door that we need the Rod of Fire for. Okay. I'm gonna try something. Will it let me rebind pause to mouse 3 and to tab and highlight objects to space? It's way easier. Spend all your time on Path of Exile. I never got into that game. I tried it. Well, of course, I haven't tried it since it came out. I tried it when it was still in beta at some point, kind of early on, and it wasn't done. And at the time, it just didn't grab me, but it's probably way different now than it was when I tried it.
I shall do it.
A lot better now. It has 10 acts. 10 acts sounds like a lot of acts.
Welcome to the Circle's stockroom of magical items. My name is Owain. How may I assist you?
Are the acts of similar length to the acts in Diablo 3? Here's the signed form for the Rod of Fire.
Everything looks to be in order. Here is the rod you requested.
You got your hands on a Rod of Fire. Return to Jowan. He'll want to put his plan into action as soon as possible. A Rod of Fire capable of emitting intense heat. You prefer Path of Exile over Diablo, but they both have their ups and downs. Well, what do you like about Path of Exile more than Diablo? And vice versa.
Ah, it's you again. Or at least I think it is. You all look the same to me.
I won't bother you. Goodbye. PoE took some time to complete, though. Way more to customize and explore in PoE. Really? You like the builds a lot more on PoE big time? Most Diablo builds end up using the same sets of gear and collecting the same best-in-slot items. Everything isn't about set items. Okay. The customization. First playthrough of this game? No. I've played through this from start to finish twice before. Plus I've played a little bit of it besides those 2 complete playthroughs. But I've never played Dragon Age 2 or 3. Alright, let's go back to our buddy Jowan, I guess. And he is to the left.
I hate waiting. It makes me nervous.
I have the Rod of Fire.
That was quick!
To the repository, then. Freedom awaits.
No, I actually haven't played the Awakenings expansion. I want to. This is the Ultimate Edition, so I have every DLC, including Awakenings, included with this. The preparations are complete. Now you must go to the basement of the tower and venture into its massive repository, part of which is set aside to hold the phylacteries of apprentices.
Thank you for your help. Freedom is so close, I can almost taste it.
I'm so nervous things will go wrong.
What will you do after you escape?
Lily and I will get married somewhere. Away from the Circle and its rules.
Perhaps in the outskirts of Ferelden.
Or in Orlais. Just far from here. We'll live a quiet life. Away from magic. Maybe we can buy a farm one day.
What if you become an abomination after you escape?
I won't do any magic or come into contact with Lyrium. I'll stay far away from anything magical. I know I'm strong enough to fight off the demons if it comes to that.
And I will pray every day to Andraste to protect us.
Well, let's just concentrate on what we're doing.
I feel like these two have a terrible plan and everything's going to end badly for them no matter what. Oh, they're actually in my party. That's cute. They bring back a character from Awakenings in Dragon Age Inquisition. Oh, really? That's cool. I'm gonna go over here and talk to Leora again, because I think she owes me a favor. And now that I got the Rod of Fire on my own, I think I can ask her for something else.
It's always good to see you.
Don't you owe me a favor?
I do. I put aside these potions some time ago, but never found a use for them. Here, I hope they'll be helpful to you.
Oh, what is all this? Small shield? Wood is often used for shields because it grows everywhere and is relatively strong. Mace? Weapon is heavy and far deadlier than it looks. Dagger? This is a simple blade, but sharp enough for the job. Health poultice? As opposed to lesser health poultice. Lesser ice salve? A sticky snow white salve. No two particles of it are identical. Resistance to cold, resistance to nature. This thick brown salve makes the user smell like dirt and herbs. So she gave me some junky shit, basically. And I'm not sure why I have a mace and a shield. These two seriously don't have any weapons? I mean, her weapon is probably this mace and shield. And I could give him one of my... one of these extra magic staffs I've picked up. But I want these weapons back before you fuckers leave my party. Senior Mage Leora, grateful to you for having cleared out the spiders, has given you some useful items. Alright.
I'm so nervous things will go wrong.
Don't worry, Jowan.
I'm trying.
Okay, let's go. We have to go down to the basement. We have to go down to the basement. We have to go down to the basement.
I can't wait for my harrowing.
Congratulations.
I thought there was a
on
side
your
quest that took place in this section, in this big library. And I don't remember how you get it, and I thought it was a thing.
Aren't the children just precious?
But maybe there's not. Harrowing doesn't sound good? No, yeah, it sounds really bad.
Ah, congratulations on your harrowing.
Okie dokie. Here we go. Alright, if you are watching the stream, don't go anywhere because I'm not done playing, I'm not done streaming. If you're watching on YouTube, however, this episode is now at an end. So thank you for watching. This has been Josiah Plays Dragon Age Origins.